Hi, welcome to another episode of Remote Art Talks. It's a beautiful sunny day in Toronto, and I'm very happy to be speaking with Amada Estabillo. Amada was born in Scarborough to an Irish-American mother and a Filipino father. She attended York University and earned a BFA in visual art, as well as a Bachelor of Education, and today teaches art in York Region. Hi, Amada. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So I'm really excited to see that we're probably in your studio right now, and you have a in the background. Now, I'm familiar with your work just through partial, but your work is primarily abstract, and some of your pieces actually have representations of human figures and faces in some of your paintings. Do you want to talk a bit about your work?
Yeah, so it's semi-abstract, as you said. I use a range of materials. So most of my work, you can see a piece behind me, is on wood panel. I use acrylic paint and a mixture of graphite, oil stick, sometimes spray paint, and the subjects sort of range. So some of the work is completely non-objective, so there's not necessarily any forms that you would recognize, but the pieces that I've been working on recently, I'm layering the figures of children into drawings of various playground structures from around the city, sort of mid-century playground structures. So this stuff is a little bit more representational than some of the previous work that I've done.
Oh, that's really interesting. I mean, this is probably me being presumptive here, but would you say like being a mother has influenced some of these themes in your work?
Yeah, I think so. Definitely, you know, in a number of ways. Obviously, being a parent kind of changes your outlook on the world, but also has an impact on the spaces that you tend to visit. And so over the course of my daughter's early lives, I've spent a lot of time in parks that have these structures and sort of looking at these forms. And then also, as my daughters get a bit older, they're now 10 and 13, we're not visiting those spaces as much, but I have kind of memories of them in those spaces and a lot of photo record of them, their physical growth. Visiting these same parks many times. So I kind of wanted to look at that idea of growth and sort of the move out of childhood in my painting. And so I've worked with a lot of photo resources that I collected as they were growing. We visited these spaces.
Oh, beautiful. So I understand that you have a home studio, which is obviously very handy these days. Do you want to tell us a bit about your studio, or if you want to show us if you like what it's like?
Yeah, I'm in my space right now, so I'm just so you're kind of seeing one corner here.
Yeah.
So these are some current pieces that I'm working on right now. These aren't connected to playground structures, but they still have the layering of figure and sort of like landscape. And what I like to do is I work on multiple pieces at once. So it's a pretty small space, but it's great because I now have like a dedicated area where I can work and store my stuff and where I don't have to pack up every time I'm ready to work on some pieces, which I found before I had this space was really frustrating because when you want to leave work out and kind of come back to it, it's nice that you don't have to constantly set things up again and sort of try to remember the point that you were at. So it's kind of been something that's really changed the way that I produce work, and it's been really positive for me.
Right. That is handy. I mean, I think something that people have been saying is a lot of artists, while everyone else is adapting to working from home, that's something that actually a lot of artists have already mastered over the years, this idea of kind of self-sustenance and, you know, creating zones in your living space to work, I guess. Do you find that it's harder now to find time to work as an artist or as an arts educator, and what that's like?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's busy because there's myself and my partner, my husband, and then my daughters, and then the pets, and we're all in the space together. And everybody likes making things. We're all sort of like makers. My husband's also an artist, so everybody's kind of got a lot of their materials around all the time. So that it can be a bit frustrating, the jostling for real estate. But it's also nice because I think something that is a challenge for us in our regular routine is carving out time to be able to make work, or just to have, for the kids to have sort of time of their own to determine what they want to do. And so now we have a lot more of that. So that's sort of a positive aspect to it. But yeah, it's busy.
And then how about as an art teacher? Are you still able to get in touch with your students and give them?
Yeah, so I'm communicating with my students every day. I'm doing direct teaching online for about an hour a day, and it's unusual. It's not something that we've done before. I mean, we have a classroom space online that we've always used as a place to kind of like post information and like assignments and evaluations, but not as sort of a teaching space, because normally that happens face to face. So it's a bit different. I'm doing my best. I'm trying to do some, a bit more resourcefulness with materials, sort of like found materials that you have access to in your home. So that maybe will be fun and interesting to see what we can generate. As far as the class goes, we're trying to keep in communication and come up with some interesting sort of independent ways of working that are a little different than what the normal setup of the class would be. So
who are some artists that you think some of the viewers should take note of, or is there any artists right now that you're particularly fond of?
Oh, there's like so many. It's difficult to kind of reduce it. I feel like there are artists that I sort of follow myself on Instagram. Then there's also people who I'm always sort of looking out for shows if I know that they're going to be showing someplace that I can access and see their work. So some Canadian artists that I really like. There's a painter called Monica Tapp, and I always look for her work. She shows sometimes in the neighborhood. She does large scale painting, sort of landscape based work. I also love Sherry Boyle's stuff. Always look for her work, and the collaborative stuff that she does with Shubhanaya Shuna. I saw a show at U of T that I really loved, so I follow her on Instagram. And there's a contemporary gallery in the UK called Tawani Contemporary that I've started following, and I actually discovered an artist who is based in Ottawa that I didn't know. Her name's Pamela Sundstrom.
Okay.
And yeah, she has some beautiful work too. So those are just a few.
Okay, so now it's time for our rapid fire question round. So I'll ask you 5 questions that are relatively not art related, and then you can just answer that you can think of. Okay, so are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so your first question is, what is your go-to snack?
My go-to snack? Ooh, I feel like it's got to be kettle chips, regular, dipped in sour cream.
Nice. Not buying the sour cream flavor, dipping in the sour.
You got to dip it. This is not a healthy snack.
Yeah. Okay, the next one. I know you're a fan of your local neighborhood haunts, and I think we share some of the same favorite spots, but what place do you miss going to the most right now?
Oh, it's tough because there's so many places that I really like, but there's a place very close to me that we like to go to, primarily for brunch, but also for dinner sometimes. It's called Le Baratin.
Oh,
it's a great little bistro right on Dundas, so I'm missing those guys.
Yeah.
And there's a Vietnamese pho place that we go to with the kids all the time, like just around the corner. And that's kind of like a regular for us. So yeah.
Me too. Those are kind of like cheap weekday when everyone's too tired. meals. Yeah.
There are some places that are still doing takeout, so we'll sometimes hit Hawk and Chick, which is not far.
Yeah.
And he's still running like no contact at all. You order and it's just like you pick it up. But
yeah. And that's another reminder to our viewers to please support your local restaurants, cafes whenever you can. It's really tough for them right now. Okay, do you listen to any music when you're painting?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, definitely. One example of something you would listen to?
Okay, so probably listening too much Frank Ocean.
Okay, yeah.
Blonde.
That's a good one.
Although he has some new singles out that I've been checking out, which I'm also enjoying. So I like a range of stuff. I also like sort of like old 90s, like Pixies and Breeders I will listen to, in addition to Frank Ocean or Daniel Caesar. I like to mix it up here.
That's a good mix, though. That's a good mix. This one's a bit tough. What is something that most people don't know about you?
Like, I do exercise regularly.
Okay. That's actually something that I think, like, maybe week 1 of lockdown, everyone was saying, and now that we're like week 3, people are like, not really doing anything right now.
I know, it's not like hardcore exercising, but just like, you know, stretching, conditioning kind of stuff. I'm trying to do it. Trying to do it every couple of days at least, just to, I don't know, you know?
Yep, it's important. And then the last one is before me, who was the last person you spoke to?
I guess it was probably my partner, my husband.
Great. Good job. That's it. You finished the rapid fire round. So before we say goodbye, can you let everyone know how they might be able to find you, or if there's, I mean, I know that shows are kind of on pause for now, but or if there's anything that they can look out for?
Yeah, I'm also a member of Hello Art Canada, so I actually have some work up. It's at a shared workspace in Markham that's called the M Club. And if you want to see more of my work, you can find me on Instagram, a._r.e, and that's like my art account where you can check out some of my work.
Sweet. Excellent. Well, thanks, Amada, for joining us on Remote Art Talks.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, and thanks for sharing your work and studio space with everybody. And yeah, we'll look out for your stuff online.
Great. Thank you. Take care.
Okay. Yeah, you too. Thanks. Bye. Thanks for tuning in. Follow this project using the hashtag #RemoteArtTalks and make sure to follow our guest artists on Instagram.
Artifier is a Toronto-based platform created to help people discover how art can be fun. Go check out artifier.net or follow us on Instagram at artifiernet.
For artist followers of Remote Art Talks, Partial Gallery is offering a discount on pro artist plans. Partial is a curated online directory of noteworthy independent artists. Go to partial.gallery, create a free profile, and use the code REMOTE to get a 10% discount on your pro plan.